The last time Hermes attended a budget meeting on Mount Olympus, someone offered coffee in a chipped, world's best dad mug that used to belong to Zeus. That should have been the omen. The second omen was the new accountant, a gaunt, lesser muse with an MBA who spoke exclusively in bullet point prophecy. Line item 1, sacrifices down 73%. Line item 2, belief among mortals trending negative. Line item 3, belief among top HR measures practically immediately. Zeus muttered something about closing a few temples in the provinces. Athena suggested monetizing wisdom through a premium subscription service. Poseidon tried to pitch a reality show called Kraken Tank, and then, because divine irony is a recreational drug up there, the council voted to reintegrate certain gods into the mortal economic ecosystem. Translation: get a job. They drew lots. Ares landed a night shift security gig at an airport. Dionysus, of course, claimed a bar down in Soho. Hermes, fleet-flooded courier of the gods, patron of travelers, eloquence incarnate, pulled the shortest straw. Shift B at Sizzlin' Souvlaki, a suburban fast food franchise specializing in vaguely Mediterranean Greece. The next morning, Hermes stood in a polyester uniform the color of overcooked feta, staring at a laminated poster that read, "Our values, speed, smile, Sicily." His name tag said Harry because the Mortal Resources Department could not process diacritics. The assistant manager, Becky, guided him past soda fountains and into the sanctum where the Friar of Eternal Bubbling lived. "Corporate says you'll be on hot side," she chirped, handing him a grease-stained checklist. "Remember, fries are love, fries are life." Hermes glanced at the chrome vats gurgling like miniature Styx tributaries. "Madam," he began, "I have delivered the souls of heroes, negotiated with titans, and once convinced a rock to sing. I do not fry." "You do now," Becky answered. She demonstrated the fry dance: scoop, shake, dunk, beep, dump. It resembled the choreography of a minor mystery cult, only with hairnets. "Any questions?" she asked. "Only whether hubris is deductible," but Becky was already gone, clipboard first. Hermes exhaled an action that up on Olympus normally perfumed the air with laurel and ozone. Down here it smelled like stale fryer oil and mop water. He summoned his caduceus for comfort, but it refused to materialize fully. Apparently, magical implements also faced budget restrictions. Instead, a soggy straw appeared in his hand. Auspicious start. Lunch rush hit like Hector's last stand. A digital screen spat orders in mortal runes. 147 2 gyro meals. 148 7 kids humans. 149 fries, no salt, extra divorce. Becky barked, "Move with urgency, team." Hermes, who once circumnavigated the globe in a single breath, was told to shave 2 seconds off his basket drop or face corrective coaching. He experimented. The winged sandal dress, code-compliant, slip-resistant sneakers, now still, held a suggestion of celestial torque. In a blur, he filled, dunked, and drained 3 baskets before the mortal eye could blink. Steam hissed like gossiping harpies. Fries rained into trays, golden and immaculate. It was poetry in starch. A coworker named Travis gaped. "Bro, you're like the fry whisperer." Becky checked the timestamps. "Harry, those fries cooked in 52 seconds. Official cook time is 3 minutes. Corporate doesn't like deviations. Consistency builds trust." "The fries are perfect," Hermes protested. She wagged a thermometer like a scepter. "Perfect is irrelevant. Procedure is sacred." If Hermes had any mortal blood, it would have boiled faster than the oil. Instead, he smiled the thin smile of a trickster plotting a future grievance. The mortal realm prized obedience over excellence? Fine, he could do petty. During break, he retreated behind the dumpster to text the Olympian group chat. "Help, Friar shift is Sisyphean. Also, anyone know how to get grease smell out of immortal pores?" Replies scrolled in. Ares. Lol, try dry shampoo and blood of enemies. Athena. Recommend strategic compliance. Observe, learn system, then exploit. Dionysus, bro, just add wine to the Friar instant tempura party. Zeus, busy crowdfunding Thunderbolt startup, best of luck, son. Hermes tossed the phone into his locker, careful not to let his despair drip onto Becky's printed memos about cheese portion control. At precisely 1:07 p.m., the regional district manager arrived, trailing a migraine of cologne. His tie bore motivational lightning bolts. Becky straightened like a soldier. "Welcome, Mr. Gorton," she chirped. "Call me Randy," he said. "I'm here to observe best practices." Randy watched Hermes measure salt with corporate-approved flourish, or at least a passable imitation thereof. Whenever Hermes' divine instincts itched to speed up, he imagined Randy as a minor monster, perhaps a scheduled basilisk, and slowed to mortal tempo. Randy made paternal grunts, scribbled illegible runes, and left behind a comment card that simply read, "Good energy, watch variance." At night, Hermes rode the bus home to a furnished studio rented under the name Harold Messenger. The bus smelled of despair and promotional air freshener. An elderly passenger coughed a question. "Work or school?" "Both," Hermes answered. "In that I learn while suffering." He glanced out the window. Somewhere above the clouds, Apollo was probably hosting a live stream about mindful sun salutations. Hermes thought about the Golden Age wine-soaked banquets, poets reciting odes in his honor, mortals erecting statues rather than Yelp reviews. Now the only offerings were crumpled napkins and the occasional fry dropped in panic when kids spilled soda. Faith, apparently, had migrated to franchises. Week 2 introduced the drive-through headset, an artifact so brittle with static it might have been forged by Hephaestus on a hangover. Becky explained, "Smile with your voice. Upsell to large. Offer dessert. Baklava bites." Hermes donned the device. The mortal world funneled into his ear in a cacophony of SUVs and childhood tantrums. Customer, "Yeah, can I get a number 4, but like gluten-free pita?" Hermes, "Our pita is as gluten-laden as the river Lethe is forgetful." Customer, so no?" Hermes, "We offer lettuce wrap substitution traditional to the Spartan austerity diet." Becky slapped the mute button. "Harry, keep it simple. People just want lunch, not an epic." He rolled his eyes but complied. Still, the mischief inside him seethed. For centuries, Hermes prided himself on linguistic agility, twisting tongues, birthing idioms. Now he had to recite, "Would you like to make it a combo for just $1.29 more, like a supplicant at a very small, greasy oracle?" By Thursday, he started logging infractions, not his own authors. Becky left the sanitizing sink running for 7 minutes. Travis pocketed a feta cube. Hermes kept a tablet of offenses tucked in his apron, a budding scroll of leverage. If he could no longer be the fastest god, he would be the most prepared for bureaucratic warfare. Saturday unleashed the fest of the coupon. Some influencer had posted a code granting free fries with any purchase. Cars circled the building like anxious centaurs. The fry station became a trench. Hermes timed his mortal co-workers. 6 seconds to load a basket, 3 minutes to cook, 12 seconds to drain, 8 seconds to salt. Multiply by a line of 50 orders and you got the siege of Troy in vegetable oil. He tried subtle divine intervention, slightly increasing the thermal conductivity of the stainless steel, coaxing the oil to bubble a fraction harder. Fry times dropped to 2 minutes 20. No one noticed except the fryer, which hummed a hymn of gratitude. But the mortal world measures everything. When Monday's inventory calculated a 3% spike in oil usage, Becky held a meeting. She wheeled in a TV playing a corporate training video titled, "Cost Control is Flavor Control." Animated olives lectured about portion discipline. Hermes contemplated smiting the screen, but the legal department on Olympus had recently added a clause about abuse of lightning indoors. During Q&A, Hermes raised a hand. Has anyone considered the esoteric principle that quality may attract rather than repel customers, thereby increasing revenue in spite of... Becky, "Thank you, Harry, that's outside scope." Travis whispered, "Dude, you think too big." Hermes whispered back, "That is literally my job description. God of boundaries." The next night, he took the trash out and found a gaggle of teenagers filming a video. One wore a laurel wreath purchased at Party City. "We heard the food here is literally ambrosia," the teen said, shoving a phone in Hermes' face. "Do a TikTok dance with us." He considered turning them into geckos for the content, but Olympus HR frowned on shape-shifting minors. Instead, he performed the fry dance: scoop, shake, dunk, beep, dump, adding a flourish at the end. The teens squealed. The video went viral by dawn, captioned "Hot Fry Guy at Sizzlin' Souvlaki Sunday Wife Him Up." Sales skyrocketed. Head office sent confetti emails. Becky earned a regional shout-out. Randy returned with high fives and a commemorative lanyard reading MVP, Most Valuable Pita. No mention of Hermes. That stung more than Achilles' heel after a Lego. Yet he reminded himself vengeance is best served, like fries, scorching. He initiated Operation Intrigue. Step 1. Incorporate actual ambrosia into the fryer. He smuggled a vial from Olympus Thin, shimmering essence of everything sunrise. A single drop turned the oil a hue marketing focus groups would call divine gold. 4. Step 2, allow Becky to discover it. Step 3, let chaos devour its young. The lunch rush tasted the new fries. Reactions were immediate, eyes glazed with rapture. One customer burst into spontaneous haiku. Another forgave his ex over speakerphone. Yelp exploded with 5-star reviews beginning, "I have seen the face of flavor and it is merciful." Corporate demanded the recipe. Becky, hungry for promotion, claimed proprietary genius. She mailed a sample to the Research and Flavorization Lab in Nebraska. Unfortunately, Ambrosia turns rancid when handled by mortals chasing quarterly targets. The test kitchen produced a sludge that melted the fryer, 2 spatulas, and a junior chemist's eyebrows. Legal threatened, Becky panicked. Randy scheduled an all-hand Zoom titled, "Integrity, Our Secret Sauce." Hermes watched them flail like demigods who'd challenged his father once. He weighed his options: reveal the cosmic truth, reclaim credit, endure paperwork, or lean fully into trickster territory. He chose trickster. At 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, Hermes staged a divine OSHA violation. With subtle gestures, he coaxed every fryer timer to ring simultaneously. Lights flickered, the soda waterfall geysered cola, the speaker system blared elevator pan flute music. Employees screamed, customers recorded. Hermes stepped onto the counter, wings unfurling at last, no longer shy about budget caps. A gust of mythic wind scattered receipt paper like snow. "Mortals!" he proclaimed. "Behold Harry the Fry Guy, formerly known as Hermes Argophantes, emissary of Olympus, god of cunning, lamentably your line cook. You demanded consistency over genius, procedure over delight. Now taste the fruits of devotion to manuals." Deep fryer oil frothed into perfect golden orbs that danced midair, spelling the corporate slogan backwards, Elsus. Customers gasped, recognizing a portent, though not the language. One toddler clapped. Randy's jaw hit the floor like a fallen column. "This violates brand standards." Hermes thrust a finger. "Sir, you violate cosmic standards by measuring inspiration in quarterly increments." Becky tried to reach the fire suppression lever, but the lever bent away playfully. Hermes possessed every hinge and screw. Authorship of boundaries has perks. Then with theatrical flourish, he snapped his fingers. The building hushed, fryers calmed, receipts drifted harmlessly to tile. Only the aroma of celestial fries remained, making everyone nostalgic for a childhood they never had. "Now," Hermes said, "I resign. My severance package is the knowledge that none of you will ever replicate what happened today, no matter how many spreadsheets you conjure. May your focus groups turn on you like furies." He removed his name tag and set it on the counter. It gleamed, finally revealing the correct alphabet. A dude alphabet. A tiny thunderclap punctuated the act, courtesy of Zeus, who texted, "Attaboy." Hermes walked out. He did not clock out. Let eternity figure out payroll. Outside, the teenagers with TikTok phones were waiting. They had witnessed the whole spectacle. "Dude," one breathed, "how did you do the floating fries? Is that like CGI?" "Just old school craftsmanship," Hermes said. They begged for another video. He considered there were worse ways to gather mortal faith than bite-sized bursts on social media. And Olympus could use fresh PR. "Tomorrow," he promised. "There's a bigger stunt coming." He opened a portal, nothing ostentatious, just a shimmer behind the dumpster, and stepped through. The teenagers' jaws dropped. One fainted, or maybe began the first cult dance in years. Back on Olympus, the monthly budget meeting awaited. The accountant Muse had spreadsheets showing a sudden spike in brand awareness thanks to ambiguous viral Fry God footage. Zeus proposed limited edition God Meal toys. Athena drafted a white paper titled Reenchantment Economics, Leveraging Epiphany Events for Sustainable Worship. Dionysus brought samples. Hermes took his seat smelling triumph rather than grease. He unfolded a napkin from sizzling souvlaki, placed it on the conference table, and said, "New agenda item. Free fries for worshippers. Cost of goods, negligible if you distill them from the sun. ROI, incalculable in mortal love." The accountant frowned at his leisure. "We could pilot that." Hermes smiled. For a moment, the old electricity pre-PowerPoint pre-headset throbbed in the hall. The gods leaned forward, hungry, curious, conspiratorial, exactly as they looked the first time someone lit a sacrificial flame. Outside, mortals argued online about whether Hot Fry Guy was a marketing stunt, performance art, or evidence that the algorithm itself had developed taste buds. Some pledged pilgrimage to suburban strip malls, hoping to taste the legendary fries. Some wrote fan fiction. A startup began selling replica winged sneakers. The line between faith and fandom blurred like steam on a drive-through window. Hermes reclined, wings unfurled, utterly unbored. Budget cuts or not, he had rediscovered the ancient secret. If you can't get mortals to build you temples, make them crave your cooking. Either way, they're offering tribute. And tribute, no matter how deep fried, still smells like victory.